How you doing, guys? This is Wayne Riley of the All Nights, and this is going to be one of many videos that I do this way because there's a few issues as far as comic books are concerned that I wanted to talk about. This particular video is going to be about a writer that I've been following called David Walker. He's done work for Marvel and DC, and most notably or recently that I like the most is writing for this comic here, Cyborg. Good story. That's issue 1, goes up to issue 6. Definitely recommend it. I like the way that he kind of covered the character, because before this I didn't even know Cyborg had a comic, and I did look but I couldn't find any. Maybe it was just a shop that I went to that didn't have it, but whatever. As soon as I found out that they made a Cyborg comic, I found out from Brandon Easton, Raymond Leonard and Chester Colston, shout out to you guys. They were sharing it, saying that David Walker's working on a Cyborg comic, which is a part of DC, and I thought, cool, let me get that. So, because I've always liked Cyborg, and it was a cool story, so I recommend it. Check it out. However, like I said, David Walker's done quite a lot of work, and there's an article that I read that I'm going to read to you now that I think you should hear, because it kind of relates to some of the issues that I've been having or my All Nights team have been having. So here goes. Starts. Then again, I could be wrong. How the Village failed David Walker. So recently, David Walker announced on Facebook that Marvel had left his Nighthawk series out of the November solicitations, meaning it was being cancelled. Walker went on to soothe his savage fans, this includes myself, being as candid and classy about the whole thing as he could. After all, he still has his Luke Cage and Iron Fist series, as well as the upcoming Occupy Avengers, so I'm sure he's not crying himself to sleep. Honestly, this is why I don't take the complaints about blackwashing characters seriously. Fans will whine and cry and moan about how the big two should focus on building up existing characters of colour or creating new characters instead of having them take up the monikers of white heroes. And sure, this is valid, but the problem here is that when the industry listens to the audience and gives us what we want, nobody buys it. This has been the case for Static Shock, Mr. Terrific, Deathlock, Black Panther, Man Without Fear, though that last one was probably cancelled more because it was meh, and the list goes on. Nighthawk was essentially every single thing the audience has been calling for. Walker delivered an honest, upfront, challenging book that dusted off a black character that people really enjoyed, from Supreme Power / Squadron Supreme. I mean, a Batman analogue beating the shit out of corrupt cops in Chicago. That's worth its weight in vibranium. And David Walker is a solid, prolific writer, so you can't really say that Marvel didn't put quality talent into it. We let books go to the wayside and then complain that we're not getting what we want. We can't have it both ways. At some point, a company, because it's not unreasonable for Marvel to want to make money, is eventually going to go with what makes money, and if that means the Falcon gets to be Captain America, which makes more sense than detractors are willing to admit, or that Kamala Khan gets to take Carol Danvers' old name in an Eisner Award-winning book, by the way, so be it. Meanwhile, if you want to whine about Marvel not being original, sure, that argument can be had. But if you're going to complain, you have to at least meet the industry halfway when they actually make the concerted effort to give you what you want. It takes a village to raise our own heroes up. But when we let decent material pass us by after complaining that it doesn't exist, I wonder if there was ever a village to begin with. Just thinking out loud. So, this article was written by Oz Longworth. First time I've heard of him, but I like the article. I love it. Now, why am I saying this? Again, it's because it relates to my experience at events. Now, as I said before, we've done Comic Cons, we've done MCM, we've done Showmasters, we've done a lot of cultural local events in the area. So like Fun Days in Brixton, for example, or cultural events that might happen all over London. Could be North London, East, West, hosted by Black History Studies, or, you know, we do a lot of local events basically. We're not just restricted just to Comic Cons. We sell our comics either way, because at the moment we've got Hardwired, Night Soul and Red Tempo, and we're soon going to have more as well. Nathaniel Newt's going to have his own comic, so's Lamia. Now, the article is basically tackling the reality that a lot of black people that say they want black superheroes, or they want this, or they're upset that War Machine got killed in a comic or whatever, because War Machine's a black man. We get all these complaints, but when there is actually black superheroes to present to them, they don't actually support it. They don't buy the books. Now, let me just say, I don't have this problem. or we don't have this problem rather. We get a lot of support from the black community. But I'll have to be honest with you, a lot of the people that do buy our stuff, a lot of them are new to comics. We get a lot of parents with their children that see what we're doing, they're into it. We get some comic book lovers that, you know, support what we do. People that just know us because, you know, we're from the local community and what have you. And also because when we go to Comic Cons, we tend to be one of the very few people there that are black, so we stand out, so we get support based on that as well. I'm just being honest. The bit that gets me is every time I'm at an event, and this can be anywhere, I'll get a sister coming up to me and saying, or asking rather, where's your black female superheroes? Now, anyone that knows me, if you've seen my artwork on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you've been following what I do, you've seen all the black female characters I've done. In fact, I got more black female superhero characters than men that I've created. But I'm actually spending time to develop my characters so you can actually get to know them properly, like you're going to see the growth. But my point is, when women ask me this question, they literally walk past posters of Lamia, Isis, Sabira, Sakima, and all these characters that I've made, or characters that Felicia's made, or Darius has made, you know, black female characters, and they've got the posters blown up, A3 and bigger. They walk past that, ignore it, just so they can ask us where black female superheroes are. And I think one of the reasons they do it is because there's no black female superhero characters on the front cover of any of our comics yet. Because, you know, we're up to issue 3 of Hardwired, we're up to issue 3 of Red Tempo, and we're up to issue 1 of Night Soul, soon to be issue 2. But anyone that's been following us, again, you'll know that some of the future covers is going to have exactly that. But you'd have to read the story to know. And furthermore, if you actually read the comics, there's black females in all of them. Like, come on. But again, my worry is that people keep asking for these things, but they're just doing it for the sake of it. And this is where we're going to go into the other problem, black Twitter. You see, black Twitter has become like almost like a cesspool of a place where people just like to complain about what they see. So for example, if a film comes on and someone dies and they're black, they want to make a whole long article about it and complain, forgetting the fact that all of that ranting and moaning you did about it, you could have written a screenplay with that, but I digress. They literally ask for things and complain about things, but they don't want to actually support the things that give them what they want. So I think we've got into the stage of chronic whining. This is the problem, because imagine you're someone that's created a black character, whether they're black or whether they're male or female, will it get the support? And I think you will, but I think a lot of comic book creators are now going to have to think outside of this existing box that we've got of fans, because a lot of these fans that are into comics, I don't know the age group, but I would imagine a lot of them are in their 30s, late 20s. These people are already seasoned. They've grown up on Marvel and DC. They only care about Black Panther or Luke Cage or what have you. They're not about to take anything new. They're only focusing on what they grew up knowing. And those people, even though they'll complain about the lack of, really and truly, what they really want is to go back in time so that Black Panther could have had another cartoon or a film back then, the same time that, you know, Superman had his one or whatever. I'm not going to say we don't support, because we get the support. But I think the target audience when it comes to black superheroes that a lot of people target, they're not genuine. They're not genuine. And I'm going to say something that's unpopular, but stop catering to black nerds. Stop catering to black nerds. I stopped catering to black nerds a long time ago. Let me just say with a disclaimer, if you know you're a black nerd and you don't really fit this description, then let it fly. But generally, the demographic of black nerds are just really, I don't know. I think secretly, they just want a pat on the head from their white friends. I'm just going to be honest. This is the kind of thing that I believe. They'll ignore the work of Robert Garrett. They'll ignore the work of Brandon Easton. They'll ignore the work of, say, who else? Maybe Jay Reed or what have you. They'll ignore all these independent black artists who's got black characters. Acts like they don't exist, because I've got a long stack of independent comics. A long stack. But a lot of people will just ignore it because they're focused on what Marvel and DC is doing. It's like Marvel and DC is the holy grail. So in closing, I'm saying this. If you're a black creator and you're making black superheroes, stop catering to black nerds. Look for new fans. Target younger children, because those children are going to grow and they're going to get older. And if they grew up reading your comic books or your stories or what have you, that's a fan that you've got for how many years? I'll give you a parallel example. Let's take rap music in the UK, for example. Back in the day, when we started doing rap, round about the time the grime scene came, I'm talking round about the time SAS was about. People didn't really gravitate to rap that much. They preferred grime. Certain rappers were still trying to talk with an American accent. But as time goes on, you know, the younger kids, they grow up listening to gigs. And now when they're in their teens, it's normal for them to listen to UK music, have it on their iPod, download it, watch it on Grime Daily, Link Up TV, whatever. So I think that a lot more, you know, black creators with your black superheroes, focus on the youth. Stop going back and forth in Facebook groups online with black nerds talking about this and that. You're never going to get anywhere. Focus on the youth. Because as David Walker's learned, a lot of these critics, they don't really care. They're not going to support your stuff. So, like I said, we, All Nights, we get the support. I'm not going to lie to you. The kind of people that support us, it's like a lot of them didn't even read comics until they met us. Because a lot of, that's another thing, a lot of these young children that buy from us, it's like they see us and like, wow, didn't even know black dudes did what you do, honestly. I think a lot of people have got a misconception about people that draw and do art. It's like a lot of people that think if you're black and you're doing art, you got to be some black dude with green contacts and blue hair. You're just one of those weirdos, you know? Not even. I'm a guy, I've been doing comics for a while now. I listen to Gigs and 6-7. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't call myself a nerd. It's funny, you know, because nerds actually think that I look like a thug. But when I'm around guys that's like that, they think I'm a nerd. So whatever. Maybe it's the glasses. Anyway, I'm going to leave a link to the article in the description box. Check it out, read it for yourself, share it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about what I've spoke about in this video in the comment section below, and I'll catch you later.